Marketer of the Day, episode 532. Get clients today as a high-ticket coach. Get speaking gigs, position a free discovery call, and close sales with Christian Mickelsen.
Hey everyone, we're so glad that you're listening to the Marketer of the Day podcast. We're talking with Christian Mickelsen, and Christian is a leading authority on personal development and personal coaching, and he's the author of 4 #1 best-selling books, including Abundance Unleashed and Get Clients Today. So Christian, glad to be talking to you.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you here. So this whole thing about personal coaching and making money as a coach, can you explain that to us?
Well, yeah, a coach is basically somebody that helps people achieve their goals. So, there's dating coaches that help people navigate the dating world and end up getting into a relationship. There's business coaches that help people grow their business. Weight loss coaches help people lose weight. Parenting coaches help people be better parents. Career coaches help people, find their dream job or fast track their career. There's leadership coaches, there's all sorts, sales coaches, there's really coaches, anything that anybody wants to succeed with and succeed faster, there's usually a coach for it that can help them get there. And that also, coaching is an incredible business opportunity because there's an nearly unlimited supply of people who want to lose weight or want to get into a relationship, or are parents and maybe are struggling to raise their kids, or people who hate their job, or people who want to grow their business. So there's so much opportunity for coaches to be able to start a business, and there's startup costs for becoming a coach is very minimal. The secret ultimately to having a successful coaching business is really figuring out how to get the clients.
Yeah, that seems to be the trick right there. And as far as people hiring a coach, it seems like anyone who's not serious about their weight loss or about their dating, they're going to go and maybe read some articles or read some books and have a really rough time of it. But those people that have the money to spend, who really have a handle on their goals, who know what they want, who want big results, who want them quick, it sounds like they'll go for a coach. And you always hear about how maybe this isn't the best example, but Tiger Woods had a hypnotherapist to help him out with his golfing. And you pick pretty much any famous athlete, they have multiple coaches in a variety of areas. And yeah, I'm totally on board with you there in that there's the people who are serious choose to have coaches, so that way they can have that shortcut, and that we need to be looking into providing coaching of some kind as long as we can, as you said, narrow down the serious people. And then I'm sure there's also a factor of managing your time and figuring out how much to charge and a few things to work out in the system. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. And the people who do go buy a book, they potentially could be somebody serious enough to hire a coach. If they're really wanting change and they're reading articles online, they're buying books, those are some hot prospects. Now, will all of those people hire a coach? Probably not. And one of the things about coaching fees is no matter how little you charge, there's going to be people who just feel like they can't afford it. And no matter how much you charge, there's people who can afford it and will pay it. When I got started as a coach, I was charging $195 a month and signing people up on just a month-to-month deal so they could stop whenever they wanted. And I grew up on welfare and stuff like that as a kid. So for me, and I started coaching when I was 24. So I wasn't charging a lot. But it felt like I was charging a lot because my mindset about money when I was growing up was that, oh gosh, $195 is a lot of money. Now clients pay me $100,000 to work with me for a single day. Basically every time I've raised my rates, there's people show up that are willing to pay that kind of money to make the big changes that they want to make.
Awesome. So you kept moving it up. Now you're in Dan Kennedy sort of pricing. And so so it sounded like, okay, so you had sort of that a weak money mindset because of your upbringing, and you could only charge $195 a month. And what were you charging, or what were you providing for that? If someone paid you $195 a month, what were they getting for that?
I would coach them for 3 45-minute coaching sessions a month.
And to do what?
Well, whatever they needed. So when I started off, I was a success coach. So I had some clients that wanted to lose weight, some that wanted to grow their business, some that wanted to get into a relationship. So I had a variety of types of clients. And in those sessions, what the things we would do is we would get clear on what they wanted to achieve. We'd help them strategize their actions, so they had a clear plan for what to do to lose the weight or get into a relationship or grow their business or whatever. I'd help them upgrade their skills. So this is what I've developed it's called the 5-step client breakthrough system. And so these are the 5 steps, which is to help people clarify their vision and direction, strategize their actions, upgrade their skills, optimize their environment, and master their psychology. So those are the 5 things that I do when I work with clients to help them have major breakthrough results, whether that's losing weight or. And now most of the clients who hire me are business owners, and they're hiring me to help them grow their business. But I still do all 5 of those things with my clients, including mastering your psychology. A lot of people think, oh, business owners, they must have it all figured out. Business owners are human beings like everybody else. Some people think, oh, if they're a CEO of some big company, they've got it all figured out. Nope, they're human, just like everybody else. And nobody's got it all figured out. We're all still figuring it out. We have some things figured out, and the more successful we are, the more things we have figured out. But nobody has it all figured out. And I don't think anyone ever will,
Right. I mean, unless someone lives to be maybe 10,000 years old, like otherwise there's no way to get all there. So what I'm really curious about here is, so when you were first getting started, you were getting those $200 a month clients, where were they coming from?
Well, I gave a talk. I was invited to speak. So I was a member of Toastmasters, which is a public speaking practicing organization where you get to practice giving talks. And they have the area where I grew up in, or where I used to live, which was in the Chicago suburbs. They would do an annual conference, and then one year they were like, "Hey, would you like to speak at the annual conference?" And I was like, "Sure." So I gave a talk. I didn't have a niche market picked out back then. So, like I said, I was a success coach. Didn't even have any clients yet. So, but I gave a very generic talk. The name of it was Motivating from Within, something like that. I don't know what the heck. It was really generic. Not a great talk, but I did have a bunch of people in the audience, and so I offered them all a free coaching session. And some people took me up on it, filled out a worksheet, and said, yeah, they wanted to have a free session with me. And then I followed up with them on the phone, talked to them during the free session, and some of them decided to hire me.
Awesome. Well, I just joined Toastmasters a few months ago. I love that club. I gave my icebreaker a few months ago and my second talk a couple of weeks ago. So I'm almost done with the level 1, so just getting started. But yeah, cool. What a dang coincidence. So you spoke at this thing, and then you were able to pass out this worksheet, get people on the phone. And so do you have any idea of how many phone calls that was, or what your closing rate was on that?
Yeah. So before I share that, I just want to share the 3-step process for getting coaching clients. So step 1 is people hear about you, right? They can hear about you if you give a talk somewhere. They could hear about you from doing online advertising, from social media, from podcasts. Hey, people are hearing about me right now, right? So people can, so people hear about you. That's step 1. Step 2, they have a free session with you, introductory coaching session with you. And step 3, they hire you. So step 1, they hear about you. Step 2, they have a session with you. Step 3, they hire you. So the trick is, how do you get the people who hear about you to want to have a free session with you? Well, one trick is, how do you get more people to hear about you? So, doing more of the stuff that I just talked about, that's one thing. So you get more people to hear about you, then how do you get the people who hear about you to want to have a session with you? And how do you get the people who have a session with you to actually hire you? So when I was brand new and I gave my first talk, I didn't have a great way. I didn't have a great I didn't have all this dialed in. So this was, so I had to offer a lot of free sessions, and then I'd get some people to say yes to the session. I would have a lot of free sessions, and I would get some people to say yes to hiring me for $195 a month with no long-term commitment. So right out of the gate, I actually gave 2 talks in my very first month as a coach. One was to the Toastmasters annual conference, and then the other one was to a local chamber of commerce. And both of them had about 40 people in the audience, and a little under half of each audience said yes to having a very generic free session with me. So it just was a free coaching session. I didn't have a name for it. So, if we have some time here, I'm happy to dial in and share with you guys how to make the free session offer more enticing, and then also how to get more people who have a session with you to actually say yes to hiring you. But so I had about 38 of these intro sessions, and I got 6 low-paying clients. So my conversion rate wasn't very high, and my price point wasn't very high. And my commitment was very low, right? It was month to month. But, slowly over time, and actually in the first 2 years of being a coach, I really struggled to be able to make a great living. I got 6 clients in my first month, but they were low paying, and they weren't committed for very long. So I had to keep getting more clients. And some would stick around for a long time. Some would stick around for a medium amount of time. Some would not stick around very long. So I had to keep going and getting more clients, and then some months I would fall behind my mortgage and try to catch back up, and fall behind on my car payments and try to catch back up. So it was pretty up and down. And after about 2 years, I was like, man, I should just get a regular job, and and throw in the towel on this business thing because I just need a regular paycheck. And I got on the phone with one of my best friends, and he's like, dude, you can't quit. You got to stick with it. And at the time I read a great book by Khalil Gibran called The Prophet. Maybe you've heard of it. Have you heard of it?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Okay. It's one of the most quoted books of all time, I think. I mean, if you go looking for great quotes, probably from that book, it's not even a big book. From that book, probably almost half of the book, maybe not quite half, is a quote, is quoted somewhere. Like that per page, per word, or per, whatever. It's one of the most quoted books. Anyway, one of the sections of the book talks about work. And basically the premise is that, if you do work you don't love, if you bake bread with a bitter heart and you don't love what you're doing, you'll bake a bitter bread. If you make clothes but you don't enjoy it, then you're making, you're not going to make great clothes. So basically it's like, hey, it's better to be a beggar and do what you love than to do something you hate just to make money. And I was like, shoot, all right, well, fine. I'm gonna take that to heart. And if I lose my house and my car, I'm just gonna keep coaching. I'm not gonna worry about the money anymore. Whatever happens. If I lose my house and my car, if I lose my house, I'll live in my car or live at a friend's house or whatever. But basically, I just decided to focus on getting as many clients as I could, not worrying about, making the money or any of that stuff. But slowly over time, I just figured out how to do these intro sessions in a way that people would actually sign up. I raised my rates. I started signing people up for 6 months. Then I started signing people up for a whole year at a time. I refined my niche, so I wasn't just a success coach. I became a business and sales coach, and then eventually just a business coach. So that was my path. So in the early days, my first month, I definitely didn't convert a lot of the people, but I didn't know what I was doing, and eventually I got this formula down on exactly how to make a compelling free session offer, how to get myself in front of more people, how to get more people who hear about me to want to have a session with me, and how to get more of the people who have a session with me to actually hire me.
Super cool. That's quite a journey you've been on, and it sounds like you started out kind of figuring it out. You got your feet wet, and then once you had a system there, then you just figured out like what needs to be built back up. It's sort of like the Jay Abraham thing. It's like, well, I could double the traffic coming in, or I could double my price, or I could double my closing ratio, things like that. And so yeah, that sounds that's really great and really simple. And I'm glad that you stuck with it and didn't just do like what a lot of people do, where they just decide, I'm going to go the easier way and give up on their dreams, and then look back 20, 30 years later and say, oh geez, I wish I'd done what was worth it, not what was easy, right? And so
Totally.
Totally. So yeah, you said that you had sort of a clever, unique way of making that free offer you present kind of more enticing. So can you unpack that a little bit?
Yeah. So, after dialing all of this in, and being able to make a great living for myself, then all of a sudden other coaches were like, dude, can you coach me? Can you help me grow my business? And 4 out of the first coaches that hired me were able to, 4 out of 5 of the first coaches that hired me were able to grow their business to over $100,000 a year within 18 months. And one of them did it in 72 days. And that's when I realized that all the things that I had to learn through trial and error and through lots of struggle, school of hard knocks and whatnot, that I could share with other coaches, and they could have success much faster than I did. And some of what I shared with them is what I'm about to share with you guys here. And it was also in my book, Get Clients Today, which at the end of the call, I'm going to give everybody a copy. I'm going to tell everybody how they can get a copy of the book for free. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Great. So how to make your free session offer. So basically, if people hear about you, right, you maybe being interviewed on a podcast, or you're giving a talk at Toastmasters or to a Chamber of Commerce, or you even just do a little post on social media, or you do ads, or all sorts of other different ways that you can, from networking, JV partners, all sorts of things where you can get in front of people, where people can hear more about you, writing articles, blogging. That's how you get people to hear about you. Then how do you get the people that want to have a session with you? Well, instead of offering what most people do, which is like a free consultation or a free strategy session or free whatever, instead of calling it that, what you want to do is you want to call it something that actually is what they want, right? So if you're a dating coach, instead of saying, hey, I offer a free, no obligation coaching session, you want to say, attention single women. If you'd like to find, for a limited time, I'm offering a free Find Your Soulmate Now coaching session. So instead of calling it a strategy session or a consultation, you call it a Find Your Soulmate Now coaching session. Or if you're a weight loss coach, you could call it a Finally Thin Forever coaching session. Or if you are a business coach, you could offer a business explosion coaching session, right? So the key is you want to name your session something that's the thing that they want, and then you want to even have some like 3 bullets that describe what's going to happen, what value they're going to get from the session. So let's say if it's a Find Your Soulmate Now coaching session for women, for single women, then the bullets might go something like this. During the session, we'll work together to create a crystal clear vision for the kind of man you'd like to attract and the kind of relationship you'd like to have together. We'll uncover hidden challenges that could be sabotaging your success with men in dating. And you'll leave the session renewed, re-energized, and inspired to finally attract the man of your dreams once and for all. And then, so you have the name of the session, you have the 3 bullets, and then you want to have a call to action, a way for them to claim the session. So you just want to tell people what to do to get the session. So if you're sending this out via email to your email list, then you could say, to claim this session, click reply to this email and answer these simple questions, right? Or if you're doing this at a live event, right? Like when I spoke for Toastmasters, I said, hey, just fill out this form and then somebody on my team will follow up to schedule it. If you're doing it on Facebook, you could even do it, if you want to get one of these sessions, just type yes below or private message me, and we'll set up a time to chat. Right. So it could be super simple. Doesn't have to be complicated, but it's basically the formula is a name for the session that is exactly the thing that people want to achieve. 3 bullets that describe the value of what they're going to get from the session, and then a call to action for what they need to do to claim the session. And in my book, Get Clients Today, I actually wrote out 10 different free session offers for all the major niche markets for coaches. So career coaching, parenting coaching, dating coaching for men, dating coaching for women, business coaching, coaching couples, sales coaching, all those, weight loss, all those major niche markets. I actually wrote these that so that people can just copy it and paste it and send it. If they have an email list, they can send it out via email. Or, if you were doing a podcast, if somebody was on a podcast, if I was doing a podcast, I could say, hey, go to www.blah, blah, blah, and get this XYZ coaching session with me. Or what you could do is you could offer something else for free. And then once they come onto your email list to get that other thing, then you can also offer them a free coaching session.
Super cool. So you had a lot packed in there. And so, having said all that, what's your offer today? Is it a coaching session? Is it your book? What do you have for us?
Yeah. Well, I'm giving everybody a free copy of my #1 best-selling book, Get Clients Today. And everybody can get that by going to www.getclientstodaybook.com, getclientstodaybook.com, and you can get instant access to the ebook, the digital version of the book.
And what are the 3 bullet points on that? What are people going to get out of it?
Awesome. Well, you're going to learn how to 7 ways to get people to hear about you. So if you want more people to hear about you, I outlined 7 ways to do that in the book. And then you'll get the 10 different free session offers that are pre-written that you can copy, paste, and use, or you can tweak it or use it as a template. I also teach how to, even more in depth, how to make your own free session offer super enticing. And then also the steps for what to do during an introductory coaching session so that people decide to hire you right on the spot.
Super cool. Nice thinking on your feet there. And so it's like the way that format is, or the offer, it reminds me a lot of an opt-in page, of a landing page. Because it's like you said, first of all, you don't just call it a free coaching session or strategy session, because what the heck is that? Super generic. So you make it the, finally thin forever or business explosion coaching session. And then in those 3 bullet points, at least in what you listed out in your initial example, it seemed to me like the first bullet point was how to get the plan in place, how to get them kind of pointed in the right direction. It seemed like bullet point number 2 was how they're going to get stuck along the way, so then you help them with that too. And then finally, the 3rd bullet point was, okay, now that we spoke, now you're going to have all this. So at least in my head, it was like you were kind of walking me chronologically through the beginning, the planning, the middle, the difficulty, and then the end when you're renewed and re-energized, and then you end with that kind of strong call to action there. So to me, at least in my kind of nerdy computer programming head, it sounds like an opt-in page. And so as we're kind of beginning to wind down here, do you see any problems with people who are maybe too niche down? Like you said before that you used to do business and sales, and now it's just business. If someone says that they just do WordPress websites or something like that, is that still, do they need to dial back the niche, or are people fine as is?
You never know. It's really a case by case. Usually the more narrow the niche, the better. So most people are too general. But there is a possibility of getting too niched. But I'm not sure. I'd have to take it on a case by case basis. So WordPress coach. I don't know. Are people going to want to be coached on WordPress, or would they rather just hire somebody that can do the WordPress stuff? I don't know if that's, for that, I'm not sure if, and also, my criteria generally is a little bit higher. Like, I think, would people pay $5,000 for this, for coaching on this? And some people, it's like, well, I don't need to get paid $5,000. If I could get people paying me $20 an hour, then I'd be happy with that. So maybe, if it's WordPress coaching, maybe you'll be fine. But for me, would people pay $5,000 for coaching on WordPress when they could maybe pay $1,000 and just get somebody to do the stuff, or even pay $35 an hour, even just to do, have people do the stuff on WordPress. So that one maybe is too niche. But yeah, I mean, business coach, if you do something that helps people grow their business, then maybe you can zoom back out to, to more general business type coaching.
Right, I like it. So like, don't be afraid to think outside the box and list out those different possibilities and say, well, if I do this, maybe I'm too limited, but if I do more of like a done for you or broader in scope, then I can make the money that I want. So this is great. And then, so I guess my last question here is, so you've been talking a lot of things about, like, speaking in front of a group and going to Chamber of Commerce stuff and talking to people on the phone. And I personally am a lot better at all those sorts of social skills than I was, say, 5 or 10 years ago. But I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there who are, I mean, in this day and age, so many people are afraid to even get on the phone. So do you have any advice to anyone out there if someone says, well, I don't know if I can go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting in my town and go there and speak? Like, do you have any words of wisdom there?
Yeah. Well, there's two things about that. Now, one is, if you don't want to speak, you can certainly go to a chamber and network, right? There's lots of networking events. That's a great way to get clients. But if you're uncomfortable talking to people, well, that's something that you can either work on, right? You can, there's a lot of great strategies for helping people overcome their shyness and overcome their fears and get more comfortable in those kind of settings. I teach some incredible healing techniques. One's called the Peace Process, another one's called the Instant Miracle Technique. And those techniques are extremely powerful for helping people, get through fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs very, very fast. So, you can work on that. So that's the first thing I would say, is that there's things that you can do to get comfortable, to get peaceful, to make yourself feel natural. Like going to Toastmasters is one of those things. Getting practice is great to get comfortable. The other thing I would say is, if you want to be a coach, you probably should feel comfortable talking to people. Maybe, I get strangers could be a little weird, so maybe there's some stuff to work through there internally. But for the most part, if you are, the people who are coaches are people who like people. Now, they may not be necessarily super social. Me personally, I'm more of an introvert. I can be social and friendly, but I do, if I'm low on energy, I need to be by myself. I don't seek out, being around big crowds of people usually, right? So, unless I'm speaking in front of big crowds. So you can definitely work on that. But there are ways to get clients where you don't have to go meet them in person, or you don't have to go talk, give talks if you don't feel comfortable. You can do internet marketing. You could run Facebook ads. You could do social media marketing. You can do podcasts and get interviewed. You could write guest articles. There's a lot of things. There's really, the sky's the limit. You could start your own blog. You could be a guest author on someone else's blog. There's a lot of things that you can do that don't necessarily involve, whatever, there's usually a way, whatever your comfort zone is, there's usually a way to grow your business by staying inside of it. But ultimately, if you want to grow your business as big as possible, as fast as possible, then you're probably going to want to expand your get outside your comfort zone and expand your comfort zone.
Awesome. So pursue those different avenues and also work on yourself, so that way you can become a better person, to become the person that you're meant to be, and to reach out on those other areas. And what's great about your advice there is that it doesn't have to be black and white. It's not like, oh, I'm super nervous and I'll suddenly flip a switch and then be like completely outgoing and ready to do it. It's a thing that we can gradually work on over time. But as long as we're aware of this problem and we We understand that it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight, and we can slowly work on it. And then also, see bigger and better results as we go. And I mean, heck, maybe even hire a coach to help us through that kind of thing, right?
Oh yeah, totally. And I found if you want to get good at speaking, you're going to want to practice a lot. But if you want to get over your fear of speaking, that actually can happen very fast. I've had people that I've worked with that crazy afraid of public speaking that I've been able to work with using these special techniques that I've developed to help them instantly get comfortable with public speaking. So it can be fast.
Nice. Well, it's good to hear. So that's where the money is. So people need to get outside the comfort zone, and they can start by going to getclientstodaybook.com. And so are there any other links or anything like that you want to drop here, Christian, before we close the lid on this thing, or is getclientstodaybook.com the place to be?
I think that's the best place to start. Then everybody can get my book. It is not a 2-page teaser book with no real strategies or ideas. This thing is loaded with great ideas, great strategies, great techniques to help you get clients. So anybody who wants clients, to getclientstodaybook.com. I would start there. We also offer, once you sign up to get the book, I've got some other incredible videos that are going to make getting clients and growing your business and getting started in coaching much faster and easier. So there's by going to that page and opting in and getting on my email list, it's going to be like winning the lottery. I mean, you're going to get so much great stuff.
Awesome. So those coins from the jackpot just going to be spilling out there. So getclientstodaybook.com is the place to be. If you don't want clients and you're crazy, it's easy money. You help a lot of people. It's fun, it's rewarding, and it's a great way to grow your business. So please be looking into getting some clients on your business, and go to getclientstodaybook.com to get that free gift, to get the other great bonus videos. So that way you can be on the track to having an easier time of making money in your business. Imagine how easy your business could run if you had even a handful of recurring high-ticket coaching clients that could just have the money coming in. So that way you could delegate whatever else you want. You could take the vacations you want, anything you want. Getclientstodaybook.com. And thanks, Christian, for stopping by and sharing some of this great stuff with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Want to be a guest on Marketer of the Day? Or can you recommend an author, speaker, coach, or entrepreneur with a great success story and awesome insights? Go to marketeroftheday.com/ask and tell us who you'd like to have on the show. That's marketeroftheday.com/ask.